Hi everyone, it's Shannon here. Thank you so much for joining me today. In this video, we are going to create a vibrant holiday card using the new Poinsettia Stamp Set, and I'm going to share with you an easy way to watercolor these pretty flowers. I'm going to start today's card with the Poinsettia Combo set. It comes with the Poinsettia Stamp Set, as you see here in the front, and the matching dies in the back. I'm going to pull off 2 stamps from this set and stamp it onto Bristol paper. I'm going to do some heat embossing, so I'm going to put down some anti-static powder first. Then I will ink up my stamps in VersaMark ink. I'm using Bristol paper today because I am going to watercolor with my Tombow Dual Brush Pens, and Bristol paper is very smooth and allows that ink from the pens to kind of just glide over the surface. So now that I've stamped my images, I'm just going to dip the panel into some gold embossing powder, use a brush to also clean off any stray embossing powder, and then I'll heat set with my heat tool, and then I'll be ready to do my watercoloring. So I have my panel here on my water media mat, also over a piece of palette paper, and I just sprayed some water down onto my mat, and I'm starting with my marker direct to paper, just coloring in the base of the petal where the petal meets the center of the flower, and then I will use a damp brush and just kind of move it over where that ink is and then kind of blend it out. Sometimes if I get a little too much ink on my brush, I will clean it because I am trying to create a little gradation. So here I've got some more petals colored, just kind of going over that petal, blending it out towards the tip, and cleaning my brush every so often just to make sure that I am actually creating a gradation and not just kind of blending a flat pink over. So now that I'm done with that first flower, I'm just going to take 0.25 and just color in the center, really simple. And now I'm going to move on to my second poinsettia. This one I'm going to do a red combo, so this one's a little trickier. I'm going to start with this darker red at the base of the petal. Again, blend that out, creating a gradation. One thing I do want to note here is you do want to use very little water. It's surprising how little water you need to kind of activate that ink and kind of blend it out. So I'm going to finish up here with this last petal. I do miss a petal. I totally thought that was a leaf, and I'll catch it later, but I did miss, you probably see it right there at the bottom of my flower, I missed a petal. So now I'm going to move on to my second red, because remember I'm going to use a combo here. This is a really vibrant red. Now on camera it looks basically tan, so I'm surprised, but I'm scribbled it onto my palette paper and I'm now picking it up with my brush and just kind of blending it over the lighter tips of the poinsettia. I just felt this poinsettia was looking a little too pink and I really wanted it to look red, and I promise it's red even though it looks kind of tan. It'll look red later. So now I'm going to move on to these berries. I have 676 picked out, just going to color the base of the berry and then blend that out, and now I'm going to kind of finish up here with the leaves. For this first set of leaves, I just have 126 to start at the base with that marker and then blend it out. For this next set, I am using 249, starting at the base of each one of those little leaves and then blending out. Now for the big leaves, I am going to use a green combo, starting with this really pretty aquamarine kind of green, a really pretty color. Start at the base, blended it out with my damp brush. Now I'm going to move on to 126 again, start at the tip of the leaf, and then blend it out towards the center. And I'm going to repeat this process for the second leaf again, starting with the really pretty aqua color at the base, blending it out to make a nice gradation. Once I finish with that, I will move on to 126 at the very tip and then blend that out towards the kind of aquamarine color. So I'm going to repeat this for all of the greenery on these 2 poinsettia floral arrangements. So I'm just finishing up this last leaf here, and you can see I finally noticed that I missed that petal and I've got that one colored. And once I finish these guys up, I'm going to die cut them out with the matching dies. So here are my poinsettias die cut out with the matching dies. I love how the dies cut out those little negative spaces. I'm now going to move on to my sentiment. I have the oversized piece combo here, and I used the word die from that set to die cut 3 pieces out of white cardstock, and now I'm just going to adhere them together using some liquid glue, just one on top of the other. And this will create a dimensional sentiment. Now that I've got those all stacked up, I'm going to press my VersaMark ink pad over the top of this piece, and then I'll dip it into some gold embossing powder. And as you can see here, I didn't put any VersaMark ink on the P because I'm going to use that as a handle to kind of hold this up to my heat gun while I heat emboss it so I don't burn my fingers or anything. Once I finish with that first part of the piece, I'm now going to press my VersaMark ink pad over the P, dip it into gold embossing powder, and then heat set this. And the reason why I didn't just use gold cardstock is because I'm going to stamp a sub-sentiment and emboss that in gold, and I just wanted the piece and that sub-sentiment to match. So now I'm going to move on to that sub-sentiment. So this is the oversized piece stamp set. I'm going to pull off a sentiment from that, position it here on my card front, remove all of my images. I don't want to accidentally get those messed up. And then I will stamp this in VersaMark ink and again dip it into some gold embossing powder, clean off any stray embossing powder, and then I will heat set this with my heat tool. And once I get this heat set, I am actually ready to kind of wrap this up and finish up the card. I'm going to start by actually adhering my poinsettias down. And I'm just going to use liquid glue to do this. Just put a little bit of liquid glue on the back side of this poinsettia and then place it right on down to the card front. I am using a maroon card base here, and I think it just is a nice contrast to the flowers. Just went ahead and stuck down the pink flower, and now I'm going to actually finish this card simply by sticking down or adhering down the piece right over the sub-sentiment and a little bit on top of the red poinsettia. Once I have that done or stuck down, my card is complete. And now hold the card up to the camera so you can get a good look at all the details in this card. I really love how these flowers turned out, and they were really, really easy to color. Most of the images were just a single marker except for the red flower and the two-toned leaves, and so it's a really simple kind of coloring process. I think the Tombows make it really easy just by being able to take that ink directly to the petal and then blending it out with a damp brush. I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. If you'd like any more information on the products I use, please check out the links below in the description. And if you like this video, I would so love for you to subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.